It's the most wonderful time of the year, with the kids jingle belling.
Merry Christmas!
Looks like Martha Stewart threw up in here.
This is delicious, honey.
It's a little dry.
Well, mine's delicious.
Mine's dry.
Do you want to trade?
It's
Christmas. It's Christmas. It's Christmas.
with those holiday greetings and
How we were going to survive Christmas with 12 people stuck in a house with no heat and no electricity.
Or food.
There's plenty of leftovers, Howard.
Beer it is.
It's the weirdest thing. There's no cars, no people.
How long can this keep up?
We heard something on the roof.
The hell is this?
Saint Nicholas is not coming this year. Instead, a much darker, ancient spirit.
Those are hooves. Elk or goat?
What kind of goat walks on its hind legs?
His name is Krampus. He and his helpers did not come to give, but to take.
Everybody, hold on to each other.
He is the shadow of Saint Nicholas.
It's Christmas. Nothing bad's gonna happen on Christmas.
Welcome, everybody, to the Cast from the Coast. My name is Adam Miles, and I'm joined, as always, by Tim Johnson and Josh Limbert. How the hell are you guys?
Good.
Dandy.
Just dandy.
Sensational.
Sensational.
It's a good one.
Okay. All right.
Ecstatic.
Wow.
Ecstatic, yeah. That's a good one, too.
Can't you tell by my expression?
Wow. Is that expression due to the movie that we're going to be talking about tonight, or is it just due to your current state?
My current state.
Are you still hungover?
Yes.
Wow. He's still hungover, folks. 'Tis the season, I guess, you know. Okay. Tonight, we're going to continue with our December to Dismember. And we're going to do yet another They Cast from the Coast Revisited. Tim, what are we talking about tonight?
We are talking about the 2015 Christmas classic, even though it came out 4 years ago, classic, Krampus.
Yeah! And why is this movie such a classic? Well, because it's pretty
It's
good.
good.
And it's Michael Dougherty.
Michael Dougherty did it, and Adam Scott in it is awesome, and Krampus.
Yeah. And you gotta like Champ Kind. Whammy!
Oh.
Yep.
Packer. Whenever I see that guy, all I can think is fucking Packer from The Office.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, man, it's great. All right, so we are going to revisit Krampus from Michael Dougherty. So, Tim, give us a synopsis.
The story's about this young guy named Max, And when his dysfunctional family clashes over the holidays, Max gets disillusioned and turns his back on Christmas. He's had a fucking enough. And his lack of festive spirit unleashes the wrath of Krampus, a demonic force of ancient evil intent on punishing non-believers.
I like the way that that's spelled out. A demonic force and all that. Yeah, that's good. I like that. And
wow,
it couldn't be...
You're actually giving me praise on my breakdown. You're not immediately going, okay, so Tim just did that. Let's go to the story. Let's talk about the story. Because it's so different than what Tim just talked about.
It's the last fucking time that I ever praise you, you dick. Okay, let's talk about the story.
You bastard.
I love it. I love it. But seriously, okay. So, yes, Tim's synopsis was perfect and on the money, as always, Tim.
It was.
I know. Look at that. There you go,
It's a
Tim.
Christmas miracle.
Christmas miracle. It is a Michael Dougherty film. Period. So, I mean, right off the bat, I have huge love for Michael Dougherty's other films, specifically Trick or Treat, another holiday thematic film, obviously, having to do with Halloween, and the wonderful, absolutely adorable Sam.
With or without his hood on?
No. You're
We're what? We're what? Ruining it?
You're ruining everything.
You're ruining everything. That's right.
I was ecstatic, and now I'm not.
Yet the tone and demeanor does not change.
So the way that I kind of picture this movie when people really want to know a little bit more about it, I say it's kind of like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation goes horror. Because it really is about the time of year when family comes together, clashes, shit goes to hell. But in this case, it isn't just, fried pussycat and septic being pumped, from an RV. It's
Shitters full.
Shitters full. It is literally the fact that a demonic force comes in to rain hell upon this family of people that are kind of, living a hellish, Christmas time period. So the story itself is, for the most part, I mean, it's got a great premise to it. I find it's the whole magic of Christmas. A child who truly believes, and his grandmother's big on the belief structure of things, and he starts to lose his way. And with that, it doesn't help the fact that he's got asshole family that comes to stay with them over the holidays, and they just make things worse and worse and worse and worse. And with that, we get introduced to one of the longest lored creatures, in the Christmas season. Something that, for the most part, in North America has only really been discussed or divulged within the past, maybe decade.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, beyond 10 years ago, how many of us, have really had people around us talking about Krampus?
Yeah, no, it's gone...
worldly.
Yeah, but it's gone pop culture.
Worldwide.
Crazy.
Exactly. I know you're worldly, Tim. I had known about Krampus for a while, too, but that's why I specifically said, had people around you talking about Krampus.
Oh,
That's not a good representation either, though, but
Yeah.
the people we surround ourselves are a little different than the average normie.
The average normie, that's right. So, it's really taken the lore into something more. It's kind of, okay. And made it something of an American tale at this point, too, because it really plays on the fact that it's old world, old country, the whole Nana type character that's talking about the fact that this is a problem that existed in the past, and now it's come to the new age and the new children in the new world. You know what I mean? So it's crazy that way. And I like lore type of stories that way, that, kind of bring dig up the old world and culture and bring it to the forefront. So I have a lot of respect for the fact that it looks like they really did a lot of digging into this and really did kind of bring out some of the wonders of the stories of Krampus, because reading up on Krampus for so many years, the small different tales of Krampus that exist about the fact that he does have minions. Some of them say he doesn't, and he does it alone, and it's kind of cool to see where they came from with this. So, anything to add to that, gentlemen?
No.
No.
Continue. Let's go.
That sums up Krampus.
It does sum up
the lore,
Krampus.
the mythos. Like you said, we're now seeing it in the Western culture, right? So we're seeing a whole bunch of movies being produced about this, being brought kind of to popular culture. They take this obscure, like, mythos and legends and kind of made it Western.
Yeah. Okay. Characters. Let's talk about characters for a minute there. Let's jump right into
So
that.
we got the little kid. We got Nana.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Nana character.
Her name is Omi.
Omi? Okay. Well,
Omi?
the grandma, like speaks fluent German.
And that's it?
Switches back and forth. Well, no, she has a couple scenes where she speaks English, and then she
Does
just
she?
pretends like she doesn't speak English after that.
Yeah. Isn't there like one of the characters gets right surprised and was like, I fucking knew it.
Yeah. And you got, like you said, the National Lampoon family. The uncles and the cousins start rolling in. They're little shits, and that's the first thing I think of when I think of this movie, too, is the National Lampoon's Christmas.
Yeah. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation meets, fucking horror at that point. Yeah. So the characters are pretty good, the way that they fleshed them out, though. So the main kid, Max, he's genuinely, I find that he's in a shit position in this movie, because at the beginning, it shows the fact that he basically hauls off and beats the shit out of a bully. You know what I mean? And the fact that he stands up for himself in what would be modern day, school systems and stuff like this, he's the one that's going to get, the problems for it, because he defended himself or stood up for himself. And although it doesn't seem like his parents are really too hard on him for it, obviously the father's kind of almost like, you should have done more, or you should have done it a different way. And then it's kind of like hands off at that point. You know what I mean? Like he's kind of separated from the situation. The grandmother seems to be the only one that truly, truly believes and supports in the kid. Yeah. The Omi, as it were. Adam Scott is a father. I like the character. I like him a lot. Just the way that the character is portrayed was really well done, regarding the fact that, once again, like I said, he's almost separated from his family mentally at this time period. He talks about working during the holidays, and he's taking phone calls, and he's doing stuff. And it's almost like he just doesn't have the patience to deal with bullshit right now. And it's
the real world. Like, you're a father at Christmas time with a time-consuming job.
Yeah. No, exactly. And then we have the mother, played by Toni Collette, who went on to do one of the most infamous horror movies in these many years, Hereditary. So a lot of people are kind of going back and...
What?
What? Well, it is. Dude, you look at any of these, these stupid lists on the internet about movies that people couldn't finish because they're too horrifying. Hereditary is usually at the top of the damn list, and it's
lame.
It is lame. The movie was okay at the best. The director is not impressing me with his movies right now. But I mean, she's getting fame for it, which is great, because I mean, she's a good actress in my opinion. I just think that she's not in the best of roles all the time. But Krampus was good for her. But
yep, Krampus.
I really did like when the family comes, because I like the uncle.
Yeah.
Dave Kochner as the uncle. I love him in almost every movie. Like, I mean,
he kills me.
He kills me. Yeah, he freaking kills me, man. So playing the uncle, who's just absolutely, Mr. America. You know what I mean?
Gun-toting. He's a gun-toting, fucking American flag pants wearing, monster truck driving, beer drinking American.
That's right. And it's perfect for him in this case. He's got the wife and the kids, and everybody's so stressed out at one point they even realize they forgot the baby in the fucking truck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and it doesn't faze them. They're like, oh, okay, I'll go get the fucking baby. You know what I mean? Like, whatever.
And then we've got the sister, who just like goes out in the middle of a blizzard to go see her boyfriend.
Oh yes, the sister.
Yeah.
She was in my opinion,
She's kind of a throwaway.
She is kind of a throwaway. Like when you talk about throwaway characters in other episodes, Josh, like I really truly believe that the sister was more of a throwaway character.
Definitely.
Like they only really kind of introduced her to be the
first victim.
The first victim, literally. Just throw her out the door and away she goes.
Like, could you imagine? You're a father, so it's a massive blizzard out, all the power's out, and your daughter's like, "Yeah, I gotta go see my boyfriend," and they're like, "Yeah, okay."
No, I'd be like, "Sit your ass down."
You know, like, what the fuck? There's car crashing everywhere. There's like 10 feet of snow. And
no power.
Yeah, like.
She'll be fine.
Yeah.
No, sit your ass down. Yeah. The cousins.
Little shits.
They were little shits. They were assholes. Like, I don't even really care to know much about them. I just like the fact that they were really, really antagonists to this. You know, they would just piss everybody off. Like, I've known people like that. I've known people like those two characters, and they are the kind of characters you just want to smack. You know what I mean? So
was that a reference to me?
Yeah.
No, Tim. Not at all. Says the guy who was flipping me off when we were on our break. Like, walking in and out of the room flipping me off. No, I don't know anybody like that, Tim.
Well, it was more for both of you. It wasn't just for you. Selfish bastard.
Right?
It's all about me, right? Yeah. All right, so characters. Come on, guys. Talk to me about your characters. What are your favorite characters in this?
Me personally, I was a big fan of Aunt Dorothy.
Oh, shit, yeah, I forgot about Aunt Dorothy for a minute there. Yeah.
She was funny. I mean, I liked everybody in this. Like Adam Scott. When I used to think of Adam Scott, I thought of him as the brother in Step Brothers. He was a dick, right? But then I saw this, and I'm like, yeah, I fucking love Adam Scott. And then after that, like, you know, over this past year, I watched Parks and Rec, and I love Adam Scott. But Adam Scott in this is what made me like Adam Scott. So I agree with you, Adam. Like, he did seem pretty disjointed with everything going on, and it seemed like Toni Collette, Sarah, was in charge of the house. Yeah. Like it was her show, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I disagree with you when you guys say National Lampoons. And like I get why you think that, but I honestly think it was more of a combination of Night of the Living Dead meets Gremlins.
Yeah, there's definitely Gremlin vibes later on, don't get me wrong. 100%. But you don't get the vibe of, like, the dysfunctional family coming and, like...
Yeah, but I mean, maybe because, you know, I have a dysfunctional family in real life
That's what's funny. Everybody does.
So, I mean, yeah, I absolutely get that where you guys are getting that, but I don't know.
I'm just talking about the character introductions. Like, when you first meet those characters,
that's what I'm
it's the
talking
little
about.
shit cousins, and it's the fucking gun-toting goofball.
I guess. Yeah, I guess.
And once again, you know, the events that occurred in National Lampoons because the family got together are fairly harmless in the long term, whereas this one is hell on earth almost. You know what I mean? The shit that happens here. So, you know, just the you know, kind of the lighter fluid on the barbecue at that point.
I mean, yeah, like Max was okay, and like the family was okay, but this movie didn't get interesting until Beth, the daughter, went to her boyfriend's, and the introduction to Krampus, jumping from roof to roof.
Yeah,
like that shit. As soon as I saw this, it was like, okay, what's gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately for me, like, I mean, I love this movie, but that was the highlight.
Yeah.
Like that introduction, the way, like the tone and the mood, and like, yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah. All right.
But I felt that didn't keep going. But yeah.
Okay. Do you have anything to add to that, Josh?
Character-wise, like I said, I like the grandma, the Ona, or whatever you said her name was there.
Omi?
Omi?
OMI.
Okay. And she's got like the legends and stuff that she kind of knows, and she's following all the Christmas rules and making sure the family does. And then when she figures out what's going on, it's time to kind of break out what's happening.
Yeah.
And then shit really starts to hit the fan. You get all the little cretins from hell popping up out of the woodworks to help Krampus do his deeds.
All right, well, let's talk about that then. Let's talk into the effects work here and the creatures and shit. Because, Tim, you brought up the best point about this movie, in my opinion.
I usually do.
Okay, well, continuing at the theme of the fact that Tim brings up the best parts of the movie, the introduction of Krampus in this movie is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It really is. Like, when you see, it's like a wasteland. She's trudging through a wasteland. It's cold, it's the blues, it's, you know, it's dank and dark, and all of a sudden you see this thing up on the fucking roof. And it's just hunched over with the horns. And all you see is the breath like it's an animal.
Yeah.
And then it just starts running and jumping across the rooftops. And it looks fantastic. And it was all designed and created by the Weta Workshop. And so you know it's good, right? Obviously, like when you heard that they were going to do it, you knew it was going to look good. But to see it in action... I like how he appears very ominously all the time when he appears in the movie. But that was the single highlight of that character, was watching him run around on the rooftops, just willy-nilly doing his fucking thing. It was crazy. And then jumping down to the ground and the chains, and he's got the hooked feet and the cloven feet.
Costume design on that character was A1. That was very well done. When I think Krampus or Krampus or whatever, that's what I picture.
Yeah. And it's there's depth to it too. Amazing depth to it. Like when you're looking at it, it's like a Leatherface mask. You know, here you've got like this demon because you got the horns, and you've got like this saggy, soggy human face, and you can clearly see something else going on behind that gaping mouth and eyes.
Yeah, we talked about this same thing last year, how I feel that they should have like went further with that, like literally establishing that that's not his face, that's a mask. But I remember you or Dave going into, no, that's actually his face. And I got mad.
The last thing we need is this director to reveal another awesome fucking baddie and take the mask off and be a stupid pumpkin monster.
No. But what I'm saying is that it's like he's wearing the face of Santa Claus, but he's not, right?
Yeah, and I mean maybe was my opinion originally when I had watched this, but man, like watching this again and multiple times since the last time that we talked about this. It's clearly there's something else going on. And yes, Josh, they did not remove the mask, so it didn't ruin it for you. But still.
Right, good.
But it's great. And
no deleted scene where it's revealed, no.
No, never occurred. In fact, the only thing that you ever see in... I was watching some of the extras on iTunes when I bought the movie, and they show you the whole setup and gig of when he's wearing... Like the guy who actually portrayed Krampus. And he's standing up in the hunch, in the back, and the piece clips onto the front, and he's got an LCD monitor that's got like a camera sticking out one of the moles on the face, and he's like walking around looking at this camera, literally, because it is huge, the outfit
that's how they did Big Bird. He had like the LED inside, and then
it's crazy. It's crazy, just the amount of effort that they put into this damn character. So, then you have, I mean, with the other visual effects that you have in the movie, you have some great practical effects, I find. But then there's occasionally some CGI that kind of falters a little bit. And I know that they tried.
So we got all the toys and the gingerbread men.
Yeah, the toys and the gingerbread men. Like the toys for the most part were all practical. There was a couple of scenes where it was a little bit of CG maybe to kind of help the situation, but the gingerbread were like 100% CGI.
Yeah.
And they were probably, in my opinion, the worst part of it.
Oh, okay.
They didn't seem all that...
Whoa, what?
Oh.
Did he just say that he fucking loved those gingerbread men?
No.
What?
No.
What happened?
Tim not paying attention. No, I said they were the worst part. The gingerbread man.
Okay. Yes.
Tim was about ready to rip into me. He was like, wait a minute.
Hey there, it's Deborah Voorhees from Friday the 13th, Part 5, and you are listening to They Cast from the Coast.
Well, this is awkward.
This is awkward. No, the gingerbread men were the worst part of it.
I like, look, don't get me wrong. They were great. I just wish that they weren't CG.
Sure.
Right? Like, or they were practical in CG. They look so CG. Like it was
They were very cartoony.
Yeah, and that's what ruined it for me. But them as characters doing their mischievous things,
that was
great.
Gremlins vibe.
Yeah.
And then
or even Army of Darkness, where you get all the little ashes running around.
Yeah.
And then to find out who was actually voicing those creatures. I don't know if you guys actually seen this, but one of them was one of the creators of Rick and Morty. And it's so stupid because they were just like these little, like bullshit, like Alvin and the Chipmunk type squeaky voices.
Yeah.
And the characters were actually named.
Yeah, Justin Rowland did the fucking voice of Clumpy.
Yeah, and then Lumpy was Seth Green. And the other one was like Breen Burns. I don't know who that is. But Justin Roiland and Seth Green were two of the characters. It's almost a little bit of a waste of talent at that point. But it was fine because, it was, you had the squealing and the, and the mischievousness and everything else. And it was funny. But yeah, they were good for the story and they were good for characters. The CGI threw me off for sure. But it was one of the funnier scenes because of where they were attacking David Kochner. And he's got, like you said, he's Mr. America, gun-toting badass, red meat American flag wearing guy. Yeah. And he's kind of having at it.
Getting fed up by a bunch of gingerbread men.
Yeah. The rest of the toys were intriguing too, because what I found was that you could almost tell, like, with the times, things evolve. Because you've got the Jack-in-the-Box creature, which is one of my favorite creatures in the movie.
Yeah.
Because he's creepy as shit. Because I think he's creepy as a clown anyway, and all of a sudden the friggin' mask opens up, and he's got the big mouth and shit, and it was creepy.
And he's, like, shoving the...
he's shoving the kid in his mouth and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you're looking at the Jack-in-the-Box, which is on his ass, and you're going, how did he fit in that? It's interesting. But they've got that. They've got, like, the angel-type creature. But then there's, like, a robot.
Yep.
And, when you think about it, if Krampus has been around for that long, there wouldn't have been any robots back in the old days, any robot-type characters. Like, that invention of a creature character was a little bit later than that, you know what I mean?
You don't know.
Why?
Yeah, that's like the 50s and 60s, the peak of, like, the space revolution.
Yeah. So, I mean, to me, that would have been, like, a later created character, just the way that it seems, you know what I mean? Because it does kind of come across as one of those, like, if it would have been like one of those robots, you'd hear like like spins around and shit. Like it would have been like one of those type of robots, right?
Yeah.
Right. It was great when he was stabbing Adam Scott. He's like, what the fuck? But no, the creature and character designs in this, the nice thing is that you can tell that Michael Dougherty had his hands in it. Right off the bat, working with Wade.
Well, he was the director.
He was. But there are a lot of directors that just basically say, go design that for me, right? But he really, you can tell that he had his hands in it because the way that the characters were designed and the way that the creatures and the effects work occurs, it really, really comes across like it fits into the world that he would be creating as a whole. Because he later on admitted that this exists in the same universe as Trick or Treat.
Yeah. There's a deleted scene where they open up the stash of candy and there's Sam Sucker and a bunch of, like, specially branded chocolate bars that were in that earlier scene.
Yeah. So, like, it seems cohesive. And it was nice that he kind of put that little touch into it, right? So, yeah.
There's an aerial shot of the house when you're first introducing it, and their neighbor is the Amityville house, and then the Bates Motel is on the other side.
I love that.
So it's a pretty shitty town to live in, I think.
Yeah, I do seem to recall something about that. I think that we did talk about that before too, but yeah, that's good note. Good notes. Good notes. That's right. Tim, do you have anything to add to that?
What are we talking about?
Jesus Christ. You got some peppermint schnapps in there, fella?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
The aunt's just complete and total disregard for the children's safety.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
My favorite thing about this movie is the fact that despite its Christmas background that's playing through the whole movie, right? This movie is such a fucking bummer, right? And I love that kind of like, you know, I just love that, like, I don't know, like Christmas is supposed to be, you know,
joyous and happy and time for family and friends and giving, and yeah, none of that happens in this. It sucks. And I love that. I love that. That's like watching a fucking, I don't know. Okay.
I'm serious. I don't know. Moving on.
It's great. Yeah, no, the movie is a total bummer when it comes to that. So, yeah. So, I mean, just overall, Josh, I want to hear your notes on this movie. If you have any. If you don't have any notes, just give me your feeling on the movie.
Yeah. I honestly really enjoy this movie. This is probably my favorite Christmas-themed horror movie.
Oh, okay.
And there's probably like 4 or 5 mainstream movies that kind of go into the lore of Krampus, and I think this one's probably my favorite. And it has a lot of those like campy elements that I like the Gremlins scenes with the gingerbread men. The CGI wasn't the best, obviously, but it's got a bunch of those things that I look for, like Easter eggs where it pairs into other universes. Like I said earlier, it's right next door to the Amityville house and the Bates Motel's up the road. And you got scenes where it ties in with Sam Sucker. You got the actors are on point. You've got that dysfunctional family, the National Lampoons kind of thing. The whole thing just feels like it's almost a parody of the Christmas horror genre and the Christmas movies in general.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you've got the character design of this Krampus, which is just out of this world. You've got these massive chains, and you've got this great character design that they developed.
In all honesty, I want to see another Krampus movie with this Krampus character.
100%.
Like, there are so many other stories of Krampus that could be told. To have this character design come back and play the same type of night out. And it could absolutely play with the same beat for beat scenario, and I would still enjoy it. You know what I mean? A different family, a different scenario, but Krampus comes. The packages get delivered. The snowmen in the yards, and the elves that appear, and the hostages being taken, and everything else. It could still play beat for beat the same way, and I would still probably just enjoy it just the same way.
Well, you bring up an interesting point that it's obvious that this isn't the first time he's done this, right? And immediately that already establishes this ongoing lore of this character. And you're right. I would love to see a better version of what he already made. And with that being said, I'm not shitting on this version. It's just, you know, hindsight's 20/20. I look at it now, and like I said earlier, like the introduction of Krampus jumping from house to house, like I wanted more of that ominous thing, that force of nature out there stalking, right?
Yeah. And
I don't know, like I was also hoping for a little bit more of a play on like evil Santa, like, you know, the tagline is he, you know, more or less is like he sees you when you're sleeping type of thing. And like, I wanted more of that. Like, and I really liked when Omi is doing her flashback scene
And it all of a sudden turns into a Tim Burton movie.
Yeah, and I thought that was cool. It seemed completely out of place. It was still cool. But I don't know, like this movie left me wanting more. And I mean, that's really not meant to be a negative.
No, because you enjoyed it so much, you want more. It's not like it's one of those scenarios where it's like, fuck, I've had enough. If I never see this again, it's, I'm fine. No, you want more
and
of
I mean,
this.
yeah, like you, I watch it every year. It's just, like that opening scene is my favorite part, aside from the ending. I love the ending. Like, I love the ending. I love when movies end on fucking bummers. Like, I love it.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. Like, I felt that this movie could have benefited being maybe 15 minutes longer and having just maybe a little bit more world building, a little bit more lore behind it.
We're showing off a little bit.
So
more
which ending are you talking about? Because I think there's a couple alternate endings.
The theatrical ending, the one that everybody sees.
Which one's that?
It's the one where he opens up the box Christmas morning. He sees the bell, and then instantly everybody starts remembering, like, oh shit, that wasn't a dream. This really happened. And it pans out, and they're all in snow globes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that ending.
Yeah.
Yep.
Such a bummer. I fucking loved it.
Yeah, that opens up some neat stories, too, though, because now you've got a whole room full of snow globes. So these are all the families that Krampus has kind of...
I love when you go Krampus, like you keep doing it that way. You don't want to offend anybody on the internet by saying it wrong.
So
they're like each one's a different story, right? I'd love to see some short stories. There's like some small vids like put up on YouTube or something where just like you take Krampus, you see Krampus's claw, take the snow globe and shake it up and it like dissolves in and you see like a 10-minute story about that family or something.
Wow. If I knew people that fucking could make fan movies.
Right?
Little YouTube fan films.
That's funny.
If I only knew a group of guys that could do that.
That's hilarious, yes.
If there was a guy that worked at a fucking special effects house, someone else that had fucking unhuman fucking knowledge of fucking horror movies.
Wow.
If I knew two guys like that.
Moving on, Tim.
Wow. Wow.
Moving on, yes.
But you talk about world building and stuff wanting more. That's what I would love to see. I'd love to see like a web series.
Oh yeah.
Yep, me too.
Absolutely. And you never know, we might get something more. I mean, it's taken Dougherty a while to get Trick or Treat 2 off the ground. It's been written and waiting for years. Just been waiting for the green light.
Which I don't understand. Like, just fucking ask a couple people, hey, you want to loan me some money so I can make this movie?
I guarantee.
I'll pay you back.
I guarantee, yeah. Oh, yeah, he'd pay them back easily because the movie would be too damn successful.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I understand when you get into people with fucking licensing rights and owning certain IPs and, like, I get that with stuff. But because he wrote and directed this is his baby, both this and Trick or Treat. Why the fuck can't you get it made? Like, I don't understand.
No, it's not for us to understand.
Yes, it is. I just wanted to argue.
I know. Overall, the movie is great. It is one of the better of the Christmas, horror movies out there for sure. It's a movie that I'll watch every year now, and my son enjoys it, and the wife enjoys it even, and it's a really good one. It does have a larger world. I do wish that they would play on that and produce something else that's great. Another movie or whatever. Something I was going to mention, Tim, you were talking about the whole anti-Santa. One of the most stunning parts of this movie for me, even beyond when he's jumping from rooftop to rooftop, is I love the idea of the cracked fireplaces.
Yeah.
Because visually, when they go into the boyfriend's house and you see the fireplaces and the chimneys split right open and the mantles just cracked right open, I was like, ooh, that is kind of the anti-Santa. Santa comes and goes and leaves no trace except for presents. Here, the fucking place is destroyed and specifically the fireplace is wrecked to hell. And when it actually occurs in the family house with Omi, I thought it was a brilliant way to bring them face to face again. Because here you see the fall down and then the cracking, and then all you see are the two big horns come out as he steps out of the damn fireplace.
But what if you brought up that I said about the anti-Santa, but what if this is Santa?
Yeah, that's my interpretation.
Like what if there was never any other version of Santa? This is Santa, and he doesn't go to everybody's fucking house, just the people that whatever reason, right? Because
so what if
because he's bringing holiday cheer back. Like he goes in, he does this, and when they're content and the family's back to holiday cheer, he puts the snow globe back. He's like, "Yep, that family's done."
Yeah, and I mean the thing is like, you know, given the fact that Michael Dougherty already did a version of this in Trick or Treat with Sam, bringing Halloween, the rules of Halloween, and if you don't follow the rules, I'm gonna get you type of thing, right?
Yep.
Like, what if this is Santa Claus?
That's my interpretation, 100%.
Yeah,
you know what? That's,
like it is Santa Claus. All the tropes of coming down the tree and all this kind of thing. He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're like all that shit. Okay, everything about Santa being passed down through generation and generation, because obviously this guy's been doing it forever. He's been a fucking demon thing all the time, and then because our society, you know, has this look of what Santa looks like, that's why he wears the big fake face.
So what you're saying?
Did I just?
What you're saying is, as well, it could be interpreted that the whole idea behind, you know, he gives the presents to the good boys and girls, and you know, as we know, when we get older, it's parents giving the presents to the good boys and girls. Is that maybe a way to placate to keep the family safe? If you're good, Santa will give you gifts, but it's really the parents that are praising the kid for being good. Because
doesn't
Krampus
it make the whole
doesn't visit?
Doesn't it make the whole naughty and nice list make more sense?
Yeah. Because there's only truly a naughty list.
Yeah.
If you told your kids,
holy shit,
if you're not good, Krampus is gonna come and fucking blow your chimney out.
Yeah. Wow. I have a new thought on this one. I have a new.
You have a new thought.
Well, no, I have a new outlook on this.
My thought.
I know it was your thought, Tim. I'm not stealing it. No, I have a new outlook on this. This is good.
Like, hey guys,
Tim,
I just came out with
I give you some praise, Tim.
What if Krampus was a
Krampus?
No,
what if Krampus?
This episode doesn't even get put out. My thoughts are silence, and Adam takes full credit.
This episode accidentally got deleted, Tim.
Post it up on your Insta right now before it launches.
Yes, going to.
I had a thought. I wonder if Tim will try to steal this from me in a couple weeks.
Okay.
Oh well.
Yeah, no, that's my theory on it as well. That he is Santa Claus.
Okay.
Well, the reason why I came to that thought is remember that movie? I can't remember the name, Adam, and it was the first one we did with Josh.
Yeah, the Norwegian movie or whatever.
Yeah, the Norwegian one with the Santa Claus buried in the thing, and they do this the mall Santas.
Oh, Rare Exports. We did do that with Josh. Yeah.
What did that Santa Claus have on its head?
Huge ass horns.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was awesome. That was one of my favorite interpretations of Santa too. So yeah, it kind of mixes together, doesn't it? And the whole idea that the elves were these cannibalistic, creatures that were just doing his bidding.
Yep.
Yeah, I gotta watch Rare.
He's got like a little workshop where he makes the toys.
Yeah. Nice. All right, final reviews, guys. Josh, give it to me.
So I'm usually more conservative than you guys with your
conservative,
with your handing out R's willy-nilly. But I honestly got to give this movie a hard R. Like, it's very well recommended. Every Christmas I would suggest watching it. I've said already, it's my favorite Christmas horror movie. It's my favorite movie with the Krampus like lore behind it. And like I said, there's a few out there now, and a lot of them are good. This one's just my favorite.
Nice. Hard R. All right, Tim.
I also give this an R. Whether it's hard or not, I don't know. It's up for debate. But I love this movie as well. I watch it every year. It's a very welcome addition to my Christmas horror run. I'm so happy that we get to talk about it again this year. It's just a very good. It brought elements of like class, like even though it came out in 2015, it has like 80s horror vibes to it. Like I said, that's why, to me, like, aside from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, which I agree, the similarities are there, but the ones that like scream at me are like most definitely the Gremlins, with the minions and how mischievous they are. Like I said, I love that it's a cheery Christmas background, and the whole movie is just a bummer. And I love the ending. I love the intro to Krampus on the rooftops. The only thing, like I said, that I'll say is a negative that this movie has going for it is some of the CG elements are not that good. And I mean, given that this wasn't the biggest budgeted movie out there, with the money that they had to do it, like, okay, you have some shitty CG, but you have an amazing practical fucking Krampus.
Yeah.
And a lot of the practical effects are fantastic. The characters are pretty good. I loved the world building. Like I said, I wanted more. It's a good cast, good script, good story. The practical effects, fantastic. It's just, yeah, I wanted more, and like, we need more of these types of films.
Yep.
And Michael Dougherty, already, in my opinion, like, he's 2 for 2 with these themed fucking, these themed horror movies.
Holiday films.
Yeah. Like, do fucking Easter next.
Yeah.
Some with the fucking Easter Bunny, or I think that's it as far as like a mascotted
Franken turkey for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, something. But I feel, and another thing, I felt that this movie had a lot of heart. This movie was funny when it needed to be funny, and it was serious when it needed to be serious. It's a great movie. It's a great movie. I give it an R.
Okay.
Highly recommend.
Highly recommend it.
You know what, Josh? Hard R.
Hard R.
Hard R.
Love it. You know what? The movie's great. Thematically, it is, like you said, one of the best Christmas movies, especially Christmas monster type movies. It's up there with Gremlins and stuff like that, in my opinion. And yes, it's a definite watch every year. The one thing that I really kind of appreciate for this movie too is, as much as we talk about the fact that it's just a shit show when it comes to the family getting together, very much so National Lampoon's, when they start getting picked off in the movie, I feel bad for them. Like, I actually start to like the characters, even though they're assholes. You know what I mean? Like when Kochner,
because you can relate with them.
Yeah,
everyone's family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I start to right down to Kochner taking a ride out the window. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, you watch it and it happens, and it is what it is, and you kind of feel bad for what they're going through. But I mean, deep down that they're fucking in deservance of it, so it's gonna happen.
Yeah, they're on the naughty list.
It's a movie I recommend to people. I mean, but for the most part, because it is fairly mainstream horror, everybody knows about the movie. So, it's hard to really find people who don't know about the movie, but it is good to recommend it to people who haven't seen it yet. So, the visual effects when it comes to the practicality of Krampus are outstanding. The other practical creature effects are great as well. The CGI is a little bit lacking, but you know what, Tim? You do bring up a good point. Once again, here you got the budget spent on practicality. Deal with a little bit of shitty CGI. And it is only a little bit of CGI, so...
They should have just done practical gingerbread.
Sure.
There's no reason they couldn't have.
Or
if
just
the
have a
team
practical...
was able to put together the practical effects they were, there's absolutely no reason. It probably would have been cheaper than the CG.
Yeah, and then put like CG faces on them.
Yeah. Something simple like that.
Who knows? Time restraints, actors. You never know.
I mean, shit, they spent the money on who voiced them.
Right?
Right, so might as well.
I'm hoping that's just a cameo and they were in town and they got some voice work done. It wasn't paid a bunch of money to get Justin Roiland to scream like a gingerbread
Well,
man.
back then he was probably... Well, he wouldn't have been really well known back then. He was probably still...
Even Seth...
But
well,
Seth Green, yeah.
Still big. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Robot Chicken.
Well, king of voices.
Maybe Michael Dougherty's friends with them.
Could be
yeah,
that too.
probably.
So, all in all, I got to give this movie a hard R as well because it is a highly recommended movie. Every year I watch it, and I tell everybody to watch it too. So, and if nothing more than the fact that Krampus itself just blows me away in this movie, that alone to me gives this movie an R rating. You know, just Krampus himself. So with that, everybody, good call, good show, good ratings, and. This has so far been a great December to Dismember by revisiting movies this month. So it's been a great time. So, all right, guys, we're going to wrap it up then. So, Josh.
Krampus, Crumpets.
Fuck. Tim.
Stay spooky, everybody.
All right. See you next time, everybody. Thanks for joining us.